Akabo, Wa'akatu. This is Daku, your DC area Black Power and Black Supremacy representative. And today, I want to talk to you about how operating inside the system of racism, white supremacy, makes that which doesn't make sense, make sense. Now, since they tore my videos down, took them down, terminated my channel on YouTube, I thought I'd touch on this again. We went into how racism, white supremacy, and white power is equivalent to deception, contradiction, and confusion. But when you brainwash yourself and allow yourself to be brainwashed into the confusion, when you come up and evolve in racism, white supremacy, you convince yourself that that which doesn't make sense makes sense. When you convince yourself that that which doesn't make sense makes sense, you then go on to try and convince other people in future generations that what doesn't make sense makes sense. We talked about voting in the video that was terminated. They say majority rules, right? So, like I said, I like to make it plain and keep it simple. Majority rules, right? You got 5 people. 3 vote for the left, 2 vote for the right. If majority rules, then that means the left wins because 3 voted for the left. Isn't 3 more than 2? Not in the system of racism, white supremacy. They got all kinds of rules and exceptions to the rules and exceptions to the exceptions to the rule. And then you who think you are so intelligent, you understand the exceptions to the exceptions to the exception. You convince yourself that oh yeah, that does make sense. We went into words. And again, making it plain and keeping it simple, we use basic words. Lion, L-I-O-N. Zion, Z-I-O-N. Iron, I-O-N. Shun, S-H-U-N. That's right. Shun, T-I-O-N. You're telling yourself that that makes sense. But it doesn't make sense. Shun is S-H-U-N. But lion is L-I-O-N. Zion is Z-I-O-N. Iron is I-O-N. You think you got it, but then you look over here at shun and it's T-I-O-N. What the fuck is that? But again, inside of the system of racism, white supremacy, that which doesn't make sense makes sense. If you function and allow your brain to function inside the system of racism, white supremacy, and white power, that which doesn't make sense makes sense. If you buy a house, right? You bought the house outright. The whole house is yours. Right? Wrong. Yes, you bought the house, but don't pay your damn taxes and find out what happens. And then in your mind, you'll say, well, yeah, that makes sense. The tax laws. That's some fucking bullshit. So your house is worth, let's say, $500,000. And you buy the house off. Pay the house off. So it's yours. Let's say the taxes are $10,000. Don't pay the $10,000 and see won't they take your house. Is the house not worth much more than $10,000? But because they come up with some bullshit ass laws, you didn't pay the $10,000, so they get to come and take your house. Inside of the system of racism, white supremacy, and white power, things that don't make sense make sense. But once you free your mind and step outside of the system of racism, white supremacy, you see just how much doesn't make sense that you thought at one time made sense. This has been Daku, Akabo, Wa'akatu, Black Power, Black Supremacy.